6, we are looking at problem number 1 on our in-class practice for the law of conservation of momentum. So as we start every problem, we're going to go ahead and read the question. So two objects collide and bounce off of one another. Object A is moving at 16 meters per second with a mass of 125 kilograms. Object B is moving at 30 meters per second with a mass of 105 kilograms. After the collision, after the collision, object B is moving at 22 meters per second. What is the velocity of object A? That's what I'm looking for after the collision. What's the velocity of object A after the collision? So with every problem, I start with my given. And I'm given that object A is moving at 16 meters per second with a mass of 125 kilograms. So the velocity of my first one, and I'm going to let A be my first one because in my formula it's got V1 initial is equal to 16 meters per second, and my mass of object 1 is 125 kilograms. I'm also given that object B, so the velocity of 2 initially is going to be 30 meters per second, and the mass of object 2 is 105 kilograms. The last thing it gives me is object B after the collision is moving at 22 meters per second. So my final velocity of object 2 is going to be 22 meters per second. What am I looking for? My unknown is going to be the velocity of object A. So V1 after the collision, so it's going to be the final velocity. So, now my formula. As I remember from notes, I can look at my formula sheet and my notes. I know that my M1V1 initial plus M2V2 initial, so my initial momentum of the first object plus the initial momentum of the second object is equal to M1V1F plus M2V2F. Now, there's a lot going on, but I have it all written down, so as long as I follow through, I should be fine. Let's make our substitutions. I know the mass of 1 and the velocity of 1 initially are right here, so I've got 125 times 16 plus M2V2 is going to be 105 times 30, and that's equal to M1V1F. So M1, now hang on, does the mass change? No, so my mass is going to be the same, 125. Now V1F is actually what I'm looking for, so I just write that in as my variable, plus M2 and then V2F I'm given, so M2V2F is 105 plus, or times 22. Now, here's where I solve. I've got to simplify. So, 125 times 16. That's going to be 2,000 plus 105 times 30 is 3,150. That's equal to 125. Now this just comes down because I can't add these together. Now 105 times 22 gives me 2,310. And I see I can still simplify this side of the equation, so 2,000 plus 3,150 is 5,150 equals, I cannot combine these aren't like terms, so 125 V1F plus 2310. Now, to solve this equation, simple algebra, minus 2310 on both sides, and I'm left with, on this side of the equation, 5,150 minus 2310 gives me 2,840, which is equal to 125 V1F. All I do is divide by 125 on both sides. and I'm left with, I write my answer over here, 2840 divided by 125 gives me 22.72, and that's equal to V1F. Now, is that what I was looking for? Yes. So my answer is, now the velocity, 22.72 meters per second, that is my answer.